Happy Sunday, everybody.
Interrupting my breakfast.
I interrupted Shannon's breakfast downstairs with Donnie and told him to come upstairs so we could do a small little intro video, which we haven't been doing the last several weeks. And I actually like them. I think they're informative for, some of you that maybe don't read the comments, or the description of the video that tells you kind of what you're going to see. So for those of you that are interested in what you're going to see in this video, let Shannon swallow his biscuits and gravy, and then he can let you know what you're going to see. Go ahead, Shannon, take it away.
So in this video, you're going to see me eating my biscuits and gravy, and then I'll tell you what's going on. No. Actually, we had a brand new Toyota come in last week, just kind of a last minute job, and I was like, all right, yeah, I'll do it. It's a front bumper, like a pre-runner style bumper. And they showed me some pictures that they wanted to copy and look like, so I kind of just did what they wanted. I had a couple different ideas, but got to do what the customer wants, and we knocked it out. It's pretty much done. I'm waiting for a plastic piece of UHMW to go around the face of it. I got the tabs on it and everything, but it won't be here till next week, so we're done. And now we're gonna get started on the old Chevy Zeb's truck, the solid axle swap, and we got the rear end changed out yesterday. This morning we're going to get after it and try and get the front knocked out. I'm still waiting on springs, but I got the kit for it for the front from Steven over at Off-Road Design, and that's going to be the next video.
Very good. I'm trying to think. There's very minimal of anything else in there. We had Kennedy's 17th birthday. There's a snippet of that. And I don't really think there's much else. I've kind of started to clip it all together. It is a longer video. For those of you that like long videos, you're going to be very happy about this one. It's currently
to the ones that don't like the long
one. Sitting at over an hour and a half. Once I run some edits, it might come down some. And I think that's it. So time for you to get to work. We've got our anniversary coming up on Tuesday, you guys. We're headed to Sedona for a quick 24-hour overnighter, dinner, a little hiking.
You're saying I'm quick, huh?
Yes, indeed. No. Anyway, as always, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Like, comment, share, tell your friends, all the good things. We appreciate all the interaction as always, and hope you guys enjoy this video. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Adios. Made it into Phoenix. I'm sure glad that there's people that get up early like me. Steve is down here at Hughes, and I can get in here and get my transmission before they open, thank goodness. Well, we got this thing in here. Get it on the stand and see what we can see, if there's anything salvageable, and go from there. The old garbage can, not oil pan. Yeah, I'd say she mangaloided. That's what happens when you don't have oil pressure. Mushroom, huh? See if we can't do some repairs, some re-sleeve, salvage something. Well, thank you, Robert. Sorry we didn't just put a dry sump in it like everybody said in the beginning.
Well, we tried.
This is what happens when you're a stubborn idiot. My fault.
We tried. It's just the way that oil scavenges and everything else. It's just, we knew what we had to do, but we were trying to get away with it because of room in the truck.
Yeah. But I've always made a wet sump work, but no more. I'll scab me something in there to make it better.
Shannon is running around taking care of things in the valley, trying to get that for Kennedy's birthday party. I'm actually having to work today, see patients, and I am trying to build the YouTube video. In fact, 2 YouTube videos for today. We'll see if I get those done, but more importantly, I'm hoping he makes it home for the birthday party.
Well, I did a little mall shopping, picked up stuff for our anniversary, and I got Ken a birthday present. Now I'm heading to Heber to join the birthday party. Hopefully I'm in time to get my cupcake.
Okay, I have a car loaded full of goodies for Kennedy's birthday. Flowers down there hiding you can't see, and everything else that's back there that you can't see. Got my camera charged up. I'm gonna make her favorite, which is green chili chicken enchiladas. And she wanted cupcakes this year, so we've got cupcakes. What else? I think that's it, so time to go get to work.
It's a happy birthday, girl.
And let's go on Lisa's tempo.
And one down here.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. We'll sing quicker.
Down here, Ken.
Go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. We're blowing the candles out. Okay.
Good job.
Oh, you didn't get the trick candles? What the hell?
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Cannon. A bib to wear though? Yeah, she's gonna wreck her pajamas.
She's like, it's your birthday, but I'm eating your cake.
She doesn't want the strawberry?
Such a tiny raspberry. It's a raspberry.
Oh, even better.
The strawberry's on the other one.
Oh,
Strawberry.
Oh.
Whose birthday is it? Is it your birthday or your auntie's birthday?
Oh, look at you going in for a second.
She's going to town on that.
Yeah.
I just love making my wife breakfast.
Looks perfect, thank you.
Little avocado toast. Mm-hmm. She's the best. Okay, been studying this morning. I'm gonna have to cut this back to get the bin to coming underneath here. It just happens to be where this was placed, and it was easier just to do this all in one piece so it's nice and square, but it'll be easy to go ahead and trim back for the bend. What that's gonna allow me to do is start the bend in the middle of this probably. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a piece of tubing, and I'm gonna start from one side, and I'm gonna try and bend all the way around. I might have to splice it. We'll see, kind of just go from there. I took this small piece that I had a bend on and made sure my start line was on it good and it's following it. So I got the shape and the degree, which will kind of vary. But now I'm gonna go in and cope this out back here so that I can slide this way to bring that up under here. So I'm gonna do that next. Open this up. I'm gonna start out with a 1/4 inch and see what that does. Try and fit this in here. Bolted it back up. I'm gonna open this up a little bit. I feel like that's going to get me close. Yes, I am very close. So, see, somewhere like right in there. I might even, yeah, I think that's gonna be good actually. This bottom corner right here, gonna need a little bit of massage, and I'll have to slice that back and just get it because of this taper right here, which is no big deal. But that's a good start. So I think I'll bend up to here, and before I go cutting on the other side, see what that looks like. Kind of see from up here. We're following that, and then because of this step back transition. You know, it's not going to be perfect to being centered like this right here, and this has got a little bit of a taper on it, but when that comes straight across to here, there's going to be a light bar in front of it, so you won't notice this, and it'll be a little bit straighter than that actually once I figure out these bends. Got my little homemade dangle meter, I call it. So we'll kind of get it set where it follows this stuff nicely. And then we'll bend until this matches, which is pretty close. And a little bit more. This bender's pretty fast, I love it. At least I do now. We'll see. So we're at 47 degrees. We'll try that and see what happens. And we just kind of have to follow as we go. So many different bends on it, it's going to be kind of hard to come up with what I want, but once I get one side done, that's just what it's going to be. Okay, I've picked some points for my bends. Now we'll just have to get this one where it needs to be. I'll get my angle meter and get it set. I've got this in here. I always draw a line top dead center to use for a reference. I know you can put a digital finder on there or whatever, but I feel like I usually hit it pretty good just guessing and drawing lines and stuff. So I'm gonna get the angle meter and I'll bend this one now. Sidetracked. I had some visitors stop by, but they were very nice people. This is what I got so far. I've worked my way around to here. I got to do a little trimming on this here to get this to set back in where I want it. Just the bend kind of changes things and makes it a little more difficult, but I'm pretty happy with what we got so far following it. This will close up when I get this in where it needs to be, and we'll be splitting this tube in half with all this up here, so I think it's gonna work out good. And when everything's black, it's gonna look really good. Black is beautiful. Okay, I've actually shifted my lines now that I got it all bent, and what I'll do is I've got this where I like the fit. Right here I'm gonna slice and I'll taper this up in so that it comes up, and I'll kind of shave that off a little bit so it's not wrapping more than halfway around the tube. But I've got this other piece up in the bandsaw and I'm going to trim it like I did this. I ended up opening up underneath here and stuff, and this is opened because that's going to get tapped up in there. And what I'll do is I'll take this and flip it over and start reverse engineering it and bend it on the round the rest of the way. I think it's gonna look good when it's all buttoned up. So we'll start by doing this now. Took and flipped the bumper over just to see how she fits over here, and it looks like everything's going to work out. This needs to come up a little bit, but it's almost like this needs just a little bit of adjustment on it. But I'm going to take and draw this bumper half on the bench and where the bends are, and then I'll flip it over and try and get the start of each bend so I can continue bending around that way. I like to always bend one direction. It just keeps me from messing up. Hopefully I don't have to split it and weld it together. Even though it wouldn't hurt if I did. It'd be a lot quicker and easier, but I like to try and do it in one piece. Loving my new squares. Something different to play with. I just like the sheet metal effect of it, but I watched the video and they work awesome. Basically what I'm doing is getting a line on this so I can draw half of the bumper and where the starts of the bends are, like this right here. And then I'm gonna flip it over and move this bend mark to this side, and then I can start bending that same direction. I just took and moved this bend and lined up all my lines with these little squares, and I transferred this line. This is where it was going the other way, but I'm going this direction, so I moved that one. Now I'm going to do this one, and now I have this one, 20-degree bend. That's a 47-degree bend. Now we got to do this 41. We'll get it over here and transfer it. Okay, I flipped it over. I went ahead and drew it over here, marked the end and everything. But what I've got going on, some redneck engineering, the start of my bend going this direction instead of the other way. This is from the other side, so I just got to bend that to here, then I can mark it, and it will be identical to this side, if I'm any good. All right, this is literally the only thing I hate about not having my assistant or working alone, but she's at work catching up on some stuff. But other than that, I like working alone, if you know what I mean. Get a little tension on it, then I'll double check mine. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. I'm on my line, so that's a good sign. So now we're gonna go to 41 degrees. Or was that 14? Yeah, 41. And that's it. I hope that's good. Yeah. Maybe I just like my assistant here so I can look at her, you know? She's the best. You ever just think, man, I love getting lucky. Look at that. Following my line perfect. Now I just got to transfer this line and then I can stick it back up there. The further I get out this way, the harder it is to hold up. So it will be good if my assistant shows up for lunch or something. All right. So this long, sticking out here forever bend and see how that goes. I could probably get one of my little thingies to hold it up. Woo! Dang it. I didn't get it locked in. Okay, try this again. Might have to lock my other wheel. And then I can maybe put some pressure on it to hold it. Okay. Ah, dang it. Oh, I hit the wrong way. I turned it off. There we go. That's a little better. So, let's go like so. And put some pressure on it. What? I can't see. Okay, I think that's good. Yes. And good. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little, that looks pretty good. So right there. Now we need to go to, oh, hang on, I feel like that moved a little bit. Not sure what I do with my big green hammer. All right, I think it's gonna be good enough. So this one is 20 degrees. There's 20. Let's see how this one works. Okie dokie. UPS man's here. Let's see what this looks like now. Right here. And man, I'm getting lucky. Well, when I said that should be good, I was wrong. She lifted a little bit, but I got a tool for that. That's why I like this big old bench and a lot of clamps and stuff, because I can tweak that baby back down. Let's get right under here and I'll show you my tool. A torsion bar that's cut off that will slide in there, and I clamp that to the bench and put a nice little heave hoe on it, and she'll be flat again. Sometimes we just ain't perfect, you know what I mean? And we need redneck tools like this. Oh, looky there. It's the UPS man. What's up, Taylor? What you got?
I don't know, whatever it is, it's heavy though.
Oh boy. Huh? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Wheels?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Wheels for the old blue Chevy out there, nice.
Yeah, Vision.
From Vision. Sweet. I love my UPS guy. He's the best. So I'm gonna slide that out to here. And I'm gonna get my badass clamps, old Bessies or whatever you call them. I'll clamp this down. Okay, I got this clamped down, as you can see. And I need to come down about an 1/8 inch, which isn't nothing at all. So I'm just gonna measure this. I'm at 37 and roughly 3/4. I'm gonna take this heavy duty torsion bar and slide it in here like so. Like I said, it doesn't take much to move this stuff. Or maybe it does. Maybe I need a little more ass. I used to weigh a lot more, so stuff moved a lot easier. Now I'm getting skinny and old. Oh yeah, I think we need about another 16. And it really makes you mad when you go too far. Like I might have already done, but let's try that. See what she looks like. Oh man. I'm perfect, as Jess would say. That's how I do it. Now I just have one more bend to do and transfer, so take that. Love my new little squares. Thank you for thinking of me, whoever. Mark, I think, or DH Racer. You're the best. This one's gonna be 47 degrees, and it's gonna be a little harder because it is on the very end. So wish me some luck. Man, I am one happy camper. I feel like this turned out perfect. It's been a while since I've bent some stuff. Scared me for a minute there. I had it in backwards and the lines weren't in the right spot. I'm like, what the hell? But it is absolutely perfect. And now I have, because I drew it, I have my cutoff line, which actually isn't, because I still got to cut it to the taper of the wheel well. But I can't wait to stick it up there and see. It is perfectly flat. That is why I like a big heavy bench where you can do some stuff on it. One piece. Okay, I got my angle on here. I put it on there and marked it. Now I'm just gonna cut this. One of the other things I like about the bandsaw, I use it for everything. Then I don't have to change the miter or anything. I just freehand everything. Nice. I just got to do a little sanding and I'll cap that and we'll keep going. I was just wishing you were here earlier to hold my pipe.
Excuse me? That sounds a little X-rated.
All right, my tube.
Okay.
Damn it, what's for lunch? I'm starving.
I know.
You've made me wait way past lunchtime.
I know, it's 2 o'clock.
I know, what's up with that?
We'll just skip, I guess, and go straight to dinner.
Are you? I don't think so. Your husband has
What
to
are
eat.
these packages?
These are wheels for Zeb, for the blue truck. Don't worry, they're nothing to do with Halloween decorations or anything, so don't get your hopes up. I took the piece that I cut off and traced it, and then I kind of went in about an 1/8 inch so that I have a nice full fillet weld. These will be the end caps, so I'll cut them out real quick. Now I got her all capped. She looks nice. And then when I put that UHMW valance on it, I'll make it at an angle and then it'll kind of come 4 inches below that. Yeah, I think it looks pretty damn good. You can see the tube transitions and stuff, but once it's black, it will hide a lot of the different angles and stuff like that. It's gonna look pretty good. I'll put a tube in the bottom. I still need to go in on the lower frame horns and cap the sides and drill the bottom holes in these perches off the frame and stuff like that. I made my piece. This is 1/4 inch plate. That's gonna weld in there, and then I'll have one more bolt hole down here. And then these will get opened up and I'll weld 1/2 inch nuts in there. And then this will be another 1/2 inch nut welded down here. So I'll get these welded in, get these holes opened up so they have real mounting bolts. And then we'll put these horns back up there, get a cross member, start gluing it together. I got these all fit and everything. I punched 1/2 inch hole in it. And these are the nuts that I'm gonna weld into the frame. I'm gonna dip them in the acid so that they weld cleaner. And then I'll get them plates welded on there and mark these dills. Nice and clean now. And you don't want this stuff to get on your concrete because it'll eat right through it. Okay, I've got my flange nut, grade 8. I've used a step bit so that I can sink that in and it shoulders it Now I'll fill that full of weld and weld it in, both of them. And then this one down here, I'll just weld the nut behind on the plate. I'll just weld it right behind that. So we'll have 3 holding it, and then I'm gonna have these drilled out down here too. It doesn't need all that, but I'm gonna put these in just in case he wants to put his tow hooks back on there maybe, or something, who knows. Now we'll just burn these up.
Shannon's out there working on that bumper, trying to get it finished up so he can get on to the next project. And I'm being a good little housewife, making dinner. We call this green corn. He loves corn with green beans in it, or green beans with corn in it. And I've got this big meatloaf, 3 pounds, courtesy of my son. That is his elk that he got earlier in the year. And I've got the mashed potatoes done. So we're gonna have a nice, cozy comfort meal tonight. It's rainy outside today, so I think it'll be perfect.
Then I'm going to use my magnet to hold this piece down here while I spot it, and then I'll weld it all up. That magnet screws with my weld when I get too close, so I'll just booger it on here real quick. That should be good enough. Nice. Okay, I got one side 1/2-inch bolts in it. Now I'm working on the other side. Okay, I got these back on with 1/2-inch bolts now. I still have to drill the bottom too, but that's all fitting like a glove. So tomorrow I'll start welding this stuff up. Jess wants to head to the other house, so this will come up just a little bit, and then I'll put a cross member in down here. So until tomorrow. Got all kinds of things going on this morning, playing with some different looks for an overlay, just to weld, just for design. I'm not sure if they want to do it. He's coming by to take a look in a little bit. And then I've also got to, we're gonna take some aluminum washers and we're gonna make like a mount that goes through there with like a billet washer with a flathead in it, and that's gonna have a tab coming off the bumper to hold that together. So we'll probably do 3 across here, 1 over here, and that's just gonna hold a lot of this plastic together that we cut apart and just make it more of a finished product. So we'll see what we come up with. I've taken my saw and cut the little piece in here, and then I just take my flat bale pliers and pull that out. That way I can bolt that together, and there'll just be a nut welded on the back side of my tab. I'm using just a fender washer to get my dimensions until the right washers show up. I'm gonna make it where it's like an 1/8 inch above the bumper tube. That way it's not touching, it looks a little cleaner. So I'll drill these, and what it's gonna do is there'll be a tab on the bumper here, and then that'll thread through and just thread into the plastic. I could probably even pinch that on these outer ones. The inner ones, there's not enough room, so I'm just gonna thread it into the plastic. Basically all it's gotta do is hold it up and bolt to this, and it'll be very strong enough for this. You can see this is just flexible. I sheared a piece of 1/8 inch and I drilled and tapped it 1/4 inch. And this is where I think I'm gonna be. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick this up in here and then thread a bolt into it and see if that's gonna work good to get to the bumper. I made all my tabs, and you can see here, this is the mark that I made from the front. So I'm gonna space that back just a little bit, and I'll use like this 1 inch ruler, space it and spot them on, and then we can bolt it up there and get some more done. This is my overlay, and I just cut it out, I'll weld it up, sand it. It's just a laminate to give it a little style. I punched the holes, now I'm gonna cut this window out. And Mrs. C is up there demanding I take her to lunch or something. I said, well, figure it out, because she's the picky one. I like everything. Got these all welded up, waiting for that one to cool. I'm gonna weld these tabs on here. I checked it already. Looks like everything's gonna work out perfect. Okay, time to start putting this up here. Little piece it together. Get my nut driver. Get this up, and then we'll put the other stuff together, the bumper and stuff. Okay. This should look pretty sexy when it's all done. I can't wait to see it. I don't have the washers yet, but this will hold it together until I get it. I can keep continuing to work on it. I want to see it with the skid plate and everything on it, and the lights and all that stuff. It's gonna look pretty good. This stuff is pretty flexible. I might have to open them holes up a little bit. Yep, I'm sure I'm gonna have to. I can tell already. But that's why we got the washers to hold it. Get my drill. Lots better. Then we got to do this one. All right. Now we'll put this frame horn up here. I got all the holes drilled in the bottom and everything. Whoops. I guess I better get it up in there. There we go. Show you. You have to let me know what you think, if the overlay looks good to you guys. Just a little detail, and you probably won't even notice it once it's powder coated. All right, now I gotta put the tube in from the center of that square out to the corner.
What's for lunch?
What do you mean, what's for lunch?
What have you been doing out here?
You're the girl that cooks the lunch.
Have you just been picking your nose? Are you done yet?
Tell me what you think. Look at my little overlays down here and stuff, and tell me if you think it looks good.
So, is that the metal stuff you did?
Don't make me hit you with my pipe. Get my tube out.
Quit talking about your pipe.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Are you done yet, though?
Come on. Good things take time. How do you, look how long it. Good things take time. Look how long it took you to find me, and how long it took me to find you. Huh?
Yeah, that is very true. Very true.
So, where are we going to lunch?
I don't know. Maybe
You're the
just
boss.
Right here at Long, somewhere close.
Okay. Let me cut one more tube.
What is this doing?
I gotta cut this.
This is why CDs and DVDs never work.
That's not a CD. That's a cutoff wheel. Get out of here, you Fruit Loop.
Let's go.
Almost closer to lunch, dear.
Are you done yet?
I'm almost done.
I've been telling you that I want lunch since 11:30 and it's after 1 p.m. So I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, I got my tubes figured out, so I can take you to lunch.
Yeah, a little while ago you said you just had to do something else and then we could go, and then you started doing something else.
Well, because you weren't saying nothing, so I just kept working.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I'm sitting here, I must want something. Uh-huh. Well, you'll never know because you won't stop working. Listen,
All right.
the rules say you must eat now.
I'll take you to lunch.
Otherwise, how are you going to take me to dinner? You won't be hungry for dinner when it's time to go out.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, I'm extra.
Yeah, don't ever say I didn't take you to lunch. I brought you to the Long Wong.
Long.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pastrami. Or no, Reuben?
Yeah, it's an X.
Very good. Made it back from lunch. Get these tubes put in here. And then I think I'll cut me a piece of aluminum for that. I don't have the plastic for the front yet. I probably won't get it till next week, so we'll just have to kind of see how she blows. Side was kind of critical because it's got the windshield washer tank and stuff. This is just all the electrical that I've got wound up here, but we will, I made this side fit first, and luckily it cleared everything where I can mount it in the center of that nicely. So now we'll just spot this up here. I got both sides made so that they're the same. Once I get this spotted, then I can get it off of here. Oops. you hate it when you spot and you miss? I do that a lot, I feel like. Yes, sir. What do you think? I think it's gonna look good once that balance is on there and everything. So we'll go to the other side now. So I'm cutting my skid plate cover, which is not really a skid plate cover. Let me cut this and I'll tell you about it. So this is more just a cover. It's not really a skid plate. There's such a big opening here. If you were really trying to protect this, you know, you'd want all kinds of structure in here and stuff. And then, you know, we would put like a piece of 3/16 or something, but it's got AC and stuff. We want to get as much air to this condenser as we can. And it's also going to look cool once we open this up and put some mesh in it. But I've got it cut and fit where it sits down in kind of flush. So we'll have to make tabs for it when I pull it off. But at least I got it pre-cut right now. And it's going to look good. What I'm going to do is leave a 2-inch perimeter probably. And then do like a triangle in it. And then I'll bolt some mesh behind it. So should look pretty sweet. Hopefully he likes it. If not, it bolts on so you can make whatever he wants. This is what I'm going to cut out. I got 2-inch ribbons, and what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to make sure my tabs have plenty of room to get bolts in. And then what I'm going to do is take this tube stack, 1-inch tube, that way I can punch the corners, and then I can just take my jigsaw. So I'll just punch that, and then that's going to give me the perfect radius on all the corners. And I just saw it out, cut my screen, get that mounted. Next, what I'll probably do is get this all cut out and everything, and I'll just take that off of there and put it on the bench to put all my tabs on. That way I'm not monkeying around on the ground. I can put it right up here where I can see everything and weld it perfect. Okay, I got all my pieces punched. Got my 1-inch die loaded in here. So now I just gotta punch the corners like so. Makes it very nice. Then I just cut it by hand with my jigsaw. Come on. Voila. This is the easy way to find your centers and get your distance. I know that I want my tube to be roughly 36 inches long. And what I'm doing, let me show you. He wanted some billet looking ends on there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weld this slug in here and drill it and thread it. And then it'll have this billet cap on the end, so it looks like it's got a billet end, but it's just a billet fender washer for the race car. So we'll do that, and then we have a bunch of these coming a little bit smaller. They're gonna go across the front of the bumper that hold all the plastics and stuff like that. But for now, let's get this capped and threaded, and then I'll figure out some tabs to hold it on there, and then we'll make our mounts to go between the tubes. This is how he wanted it. I would have done it a little different. I would have put tabs on the front of the bumper tube and then done a little kick out tube out of some 1 1/4 or something like that, but this is what he wanted and this is what he gets. I center punched these, and now I am going to punch them 3/16. And then I'll thread it 1/4 inch. So should work out pretty good. A little easier with 2 hands, if you know what I mean. Then we'll thread it 1/4 inch. Then we'll weld them in. Okay. Then we'll burn that up. Now I'm going to make a piece that goes between the 2 tubes, the bumper and the light tube. This being 1.5 inches, and then the bumper's 1 3/4. So I'm going to do this where it's centered on it, and then I'm going to do that. And I want 1.5 inches between the 2. And I'll probably center punch it, and I think maybe I'll do a dimple die. I've got a dimple die tool that I've never used, so we'll try that. I got it laid out. I center punched it. This side's 1 3/4, this side's 1.5 inches. You can see the difference. Now I'll cut that and punch it. Got that all cut out. You can see how I left part of my line. I like to always leave my line on there. That way I can barrel sand to it and it's perfect. Now I'm going to punch this. Okay, we're going to start by punching this 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to take this off of here and set it aside. And I've got this to stack up here. And this is my dimple die. Donnie got me these a long time ago and I've never used them. It's kind of dainty looking, but let's see how it does. And I'm using the side load pressure on this, not the full pressure. You can kind of, there you go. Dimple die, that's 1/8 inch. So, pretty good die. Now I'll put my tool back on here so I don't crash out my machine later when I'm doing something else. Then I've gone in and I've marked 1/4 inch in, and that's where I'll do that on each side, and I'll weld that and get them perfect. Put this one on, and then I'll roll it down to the table and put the other one on. I made 4 light tabs and got center lines on them. Let me show you this. I got this spotted up here just to see where I like it. And then these lines, this is gonna set down in there just a little bit. I just didn't want it up this high like this is. I thought it would look cleaner and set it down in so it's not such a big part, but anyways, there'll be 4 of them along here, and I'll spot them on and weld it up. Friday night, 6 o'clock. You have to let me know what you think. I just have that front skid taped up there right now just so I can see what it looks like. I gotta put the screen in it and tab it, but I got the lights mounted. I just got 1 bolt on each one of them for now. Rainy day schedule here at the Coop. Got my queen, she's getting all ready for something.
Are you laughing at me?
No.
I've got my, according to John, I've got my bat wings on, remember?
Oh yeah. Well,
Shavana?
our normal spot got wet over there because it poured like crazy and blew in on us. Donnie and I are gonna try and do some work today, but I don't know what we're gonna get accomplished in this rain.
Remnants of what? Hurricane Priscilla, I think it was?
I got a
subtropical weather.
Yeah, I got a bunch of metal on my trailer that's gonna rust, so I got to get that off. Lots of stuff.
I'm gonna go to breakfast with Dana, and then
You always get to do the fun stuff.
I think I have to go shopping.
How about making me breakfast? Well, this morning I'm gonna get this bumper tore off, finish welding it up. Donnie should be here any minute. I got the new wheels for the OSB truck for Zeb, and we got some new Nitto tires. I'm gonna get these mounted up, and I'm not sure if we're gonna tear that Land Cruiser apart today and get the body off, but Donnie and I are gonna be hammering away today. Donnie and I got the tires dropped off over at Robert's Tire to get mounted for the old Chevy. Now I'm gonna have him help me pull this bumper off because now that it's all together, it's a little heavier and probably gonna be a little more complicated, but as soon as he gets done rolling his morning breakfast over there. She came off like a glove. Hopefully after I get done welding it, she goes back on like that. I got my parts from Phenom to fix the scrambler. Get that going next week. Donnie's heading over to Robert's, man. We literally just got back and they already got them tires mounted and stuff. That's how good they are up here. So that's right. Now I'm gonna make these tabs for this and get this skid plate mounted. I keep this box of tabs for just simple jobs like what I got here. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end up putting this in my iron worker and I'm gonna shear this off so that it sets back a little bit. I've got some 1/4 inch UHMW and I want it to look like it sits flush. I don't have it yet, so I'm gonna use a piece of 1/4 inch plate to figure out my dimensions and stuff. And then that 1/4 inch plastic is gonna wrap around. It's gonna be a valance basically. So I'll weld some flange nuts on the back side of these once I get them sheared where I like them. Definitely rainy day schedule. So here's what I usually do with these. I stick them in here. Let me get a little closer where you can see what I got going on here. You can see these have that little wing on there. So I want to make it so I took the wings off Now let's go see how it fits on the bumper. Okay, let me show you what I got going on here. I got this shimmed up where this bumper sits flat like it should be on the car. And then I've made me a little fixture, this being 1/4 inch plate. And I want this is gonna mimic the plastic. So I want that to set flush there. And when I get the plastic, I can actually bevel the backside so it sits a little cleaner and looks a lot nicer. But we're gonna put 3 tabs and then it'll bolt around. This is the one that I sheared. You can see that it fits very nice. So this is how I'm gonna put them on. I just need to go around and get marks on the whole bumper all the way around. So I'm gonna go ahead and shear 9 of these off and then I'll start spotting them on.
Yep, here we are, Robert's tire getting wheels picked up.
If you need to get in there, I'll throw them up there. Just because it is going to be a little bit tedious.
Stainless mash up for the front of the skid plate. I got most of these tabs on. I got to do the 3 center ones. So she's coming together. Okay, Donnie got this aluminum clamped up here, and we're going to do the same thing with these. These are a little heavier tab, but you can see how this one doesn't sit down in there. So we're going to nip the end off and I'll weld them on, and then once we get these and get the holes in it where it mounts, then we can put the screen in it. So we make sure we clear all the bolt holes with the screen. Donnie's gonna get some 1/4 inch flange nuts and strip them out with acid so that we can weld them on the back of all these tabs. And I'm gonna nip all these off real quick. This comes in very handy for doing this. You can, you know, and it also beats making tabs for everything. I use these A&A tabs, which are very reasonably priced. We've always just kind of kept a stock of these. I need to actually restock some of my stuff that I have, but so now we'll come over here and I'll show you how good it fits. Yeah, see how that sits down there nice now? Alright, now we're going to spot these on here while Donnie makes sure that the front doesn't move and looks good. And then we can mark them all. And all that good shiz. Close counts, right? Yeah. Do the top and mark. Next, shear this stainless mesh that we got here and get it buttoned up. Called stainless welded wire. It's kind of a bear to work with because it's sharp, but it's not the woven stuff, which is a little nicer. I mean, the woven stuff is a pain in the ass. This stuff's actually pretty nice because you can cut it and sand on it and it doesn't come apart. I used to use the woven stuff, but it falls apart and the edges and stuff, so this is pretty nice and will look good. Now I just gotta figure out a layout. We'll put a bunch of button heads and stuff in it. While Donnie's putting these bolts in, we're still waiting for the finish washers. They're actually these same things, but they're for 1/4 inch and they're 1 inch big. So we'll put them in, but this is what I'm gonna cut off right here, these tabs, and then it gets bolted through these, and that'll go right into that tube, I think. So since it will fit, I think we'll use it. So I just need to open these up just a little bit with a rotary file, and if he don't want to use this, he can throw it away, but I'm putting it on there. It's kind of nice to help protect a little more stuff. Okay, so we'll just make this slot and they got some big ass holes in here. We just need to open them up just to
Move it
about a 1/4 inch forward, and yeah, that's only like a 5/16 bolt.
Yeah, with a 1/2 inch hole.
So what I did was welded nuts in the tube so that the factory skid cover goes back on. I think it's gonna look good. Okay, we got that lower skid on. Let's see if this still fits in there nicely. And I'm just gonna put it on with some flange bolts for now because we don't have the washers yet. This one tab in the center, I gotta drop this down to get that to go on because it covers it up a little bit. Oh, there we go. I just had to do one thing before I did the other. Went over to the Italian lady to get us some lunch. I think this looks pretty good. Well, what the hell? Do I need longer bolt? account for that tab right there being dead center on there. So back off with this. Everybody messes up. Don't be laughing at me. I thought I took my tabs and cleared it, but maybe I didn't. This tab right here, whoops, is hitting my bolt that's right above it, so I just need to sand it off a little bit. Yeah, let's just take it down. Let's go a little more. Okay. Now let's see how she blows. Oh yeah, that's all it was. It just needs a little bit of clearance. Looky there. Except for I didn't put the top in. Okay. Now. Alright. If I knew the sequence, we wouldn't be dicking around. We'd be done already. But just because I built it don't mean I remember everything. Very nice. Well, not bad. Took a little longer than I thought, but she looks pretty good. Get some powder on it, and I'm waiting for the UHMW that goes across the front of it and the washers. So we got other things to work on. We're gonna go ahead and pull it out and get to work on something else. Donnie and I.
Alright, here we go. 14 bolt time.
Measuring these perches, see if we're somewhat close. We're putting a 14 bolt with disc brakes in here and taking the 10 bolt out. We're gonna start with the easy stuff. We still need to get the leaf springs, but at least we can get a start on this. Just didn't want it plugging up the driveway where we couldn't move it in or out. Donnie's pulling all this stuff off, and this stupid little clamp for the emergency brake cable doesn't want to be friendly. We're gonna try and use the brake line, so we're crimping it off. We've just taken this brake line out of the equation and we'll put it back in once we get this rolled up under there. For now, we're just going to stick it under there and pull the drive shaft out.
How about a 9/16, Shannon?
Okay. Okay, ready? Okay. That light working good for you?
Yeah, is it blinding you?
I'm like,
I can see.
Look, I can't see shit except the light. The end of the tunnel. I thought I was going to heaven. I was like, oh, I'm finally here, baby.
Yep, look into the light, my friend.
All right, you should be able to let go of that now. Get this one off. Guess I should have grabbed a ratcheting wrench, huh? Oh man, I hope these lines are actually the same.
What do you mean?
The fittings.
It is.
Okay.
They're the same. my luck, we'd be like,
These guys look identical. The fucking those fittings right there.
Yeah.
They look exactly like the 14 bolt one did.
Okay, now put your wrench back on there.
Not much of one, but let's see here. Okay.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, so this thing should just bolt right back in here. And then when you get back up, give me a 7/16 and I'll drop this fucking drive shaft off here.
Okay. Can you fit a ratchet on it, or is it just a...
No, you can get a little zipper
Okay.
for that 3/8 gun.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see. Alright. Oh man. The old 10 volt.
Say bye, some bitch.
What about this vent line? Does it, should we just take it too?
Yeah, because the other one's smaller, I think, on the other housing. And that fucker's like 4 feet long on the other one.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna take this off. Oops, sorry about
Can you see?
Sorry about the cap, buddy.
Can you see that with the pliers? Alrighty.
Yeah, putting these straps back in here again. The next user will appreciate somebody putting some stuff back so they don't have to hunt it down.
Yeah. You said that U-joint was junk?
Yeah, that U-joint is crunchy. It doesn't even want to pivot this way.
Oh, well, I guess he's lucky he didn't drive it too much.
Yeah, man.
See if you can pry this off of here for me from that
She's
angle.
coming. Give her a pull. Got a clamp? Hold on.
I already pulled the clamp up.
Holy stock.
Yeah.
Holy bat farts, dude.
Okay. There we go. Now push up.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
There's
So
that
we
guy.
got that.
Yep.
Stick it right
The
there.
shocks are loose.
U-bolts. We just got one more U-bolt.
Yeah, we got this side to take loose.
Okay.
And then you got to just jack her up and roll her out.
All right. Look at them blocks. Woo, doggy. Lift kit. He's cutting some tubing spacers until we get the right U-bolts. We're gonna go ahead and modify these. We gotta do a little bit of grinding on them to get them to fit that bigger tube on that 14 bolt. But we set it down and now it's sitting a lot nicer. You know, that's a big tire to tuck up in there, but we'll probably end up cutting the wheel well and doing some stuff just to make it fit, maybe. I don't know, just to keep it from being a tree house. There's no reason to have a block that big. That's ridiculous. So we are going to lift it back up. We just kind of wanted to see how it is. I got to burn the spring perches off. The spring perches are 2 inches too wide on this one, and we kind of threw a tape measure on it but didn't measure it good. So we're gonna get them where they need to be, burn them back on. When Donnie goes down to the valley this week, or he'll get some U-bolts made. And yeah, so we'll roll this junk out, get it out of our way. The old 10 bolt. All right, we're going to roll this back out, burn the perches off.
Hold on.
What do we got?
Some dump on the spring.
Oh, did I not go hang? So we'll take and cut them perches off. Go Yeah, they just need to be brought in an inch per side. All right, we're gonna cut these off. I need to make them where they're about an 1/8 inch from here. I got me a center line. It's an 1/8 inch back from this edge. So I'm just gonna burn them off and clean them up and put them back on.
Glue them back on.
Axles all cleaned off, and Donnie's getting the perches cleaned up. When you wear this out so much, it's down to paper thin, and I can't get it off because I caught it underneath that bump stop perch. We had to bring it over here to the vise. And I used to have a bunch of these laying around, but that one is literally
Mutilated.
done. No, I don't even think it's metal. I think it's aluminum. Well, luckily, there was one. Donnie found it over there. We're back in business. All right, so I've taken this piece of tubing here and I put the line on it because when you torch something out, it was opened up. Obviously, you just can't make it perfect. So what I did is I raised it up, which lowered the perch a little bit, which we have plenty. And it's actually going to be better because the spring is closer to the axle, so it takes away axle wrap because we're not four-linking or anything. But you can see how true I got it now. I went through after I put a new line on it and I cut it on my bandsaw very easily. You can see. So now both are the same height. The center pins look good together. So let's put them on. We got these sitting back on here now. Got lines for center. And I got my line right here. Same over here. Now we're just gonna burn them on. Okay, we got this 14 bolt underneath the old half-ton Chevy, and we pulled the drive shaft. We just knocked the slip yoke off the end of it and stuffed it in the transfer case so that we can move it. We got some real redneckery going on with these extensions on the U-bolts, but Donnie's gonna bring us up the right U-bolts and stuff, and he forgot to bring the springs, but we'll get the springs and I'll get all this stuff gutted out of here this week. And we'll start putting the front end underneath it, get this A-arm crap out of here. We got this kit from Off-Road Design. Steven sent us a bunch of spring perches and stuff, so it's gonna make our work a little simpler. I mean, we still gotta cut and whack and do some butchery, but for the most part, we'll get this thing going. I say we call it a night. It's getting late, and we go find something. Yeah. So instead of waiting until next week to do some more stuff. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing turned around in the morning and start gutting that front end.